Okay, so this one's a little bit different, which is okay. I've thought about doing videos like this, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit harder to do because I have to kind of like talk about the game here and there. Supposedly, no, I don't have to. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. But what is up, all forms of social media? James Joseph Edward Jesberger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short. So there was a bunch of loud noises and construction and a whole bunch of stuff that was going on while I was playing Tears of the Kingdom. And I am so behind in this game, and I just wanted to relax and play the game, that I decided to just record the gameplay. And this is kind of like me going back, watching the video, maybe talking about it as we sit here and you guys watch the game. But I also find for myself that I enjoy talking, and I also enjoy when Let's Players talk more than they... I mean, not that I don't want Let's Players to not talk about their games as they're playing them. Obviously, I want them to be able to talk about them and to do that such too. But for me, I like when there's like stories or something going on kind of along with the whole video game process and Let's Play. And I think a lot of people enjoy Let's Plays for different reasons. It might be for more of the gameplay. You might be able to watch somebody who doesn't talk at all. You might be able to listen to a game where you might need somebody to talk the whole time, or to give stories, or to give different things as they're talking about their life. And for this video, fortunately, and maybe unfortunately to some people, but who the fuck cares? It's my fucking video. I am getting to talk, so that's cool for me. Basically, what you're seeing now, before I get into other talks and different things, is I recorded Tears of the Kingdom, and I edited it, such a weird word. I edited it so that you get the best parts. And this is all within, I think, Lindor's Brow is the section I'm doing now. For those who don't know, who are just jumping into this video now, I'm doing all the shrines first, the towers and the shrines, and then I'm going back and doing the storyline and the Korok seeds, and maybe doing more of one thing than another for a little bit, and then really getting to explore the game because I'm excited. I'm excited to like actually get to play the game for the storyline. That's what I usually play games for, but I do like getting as powerful as possible. You'll see that with Horizon Zero Dawn. I need to actually finish Forbidden West because Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my favorite games. It's not on the channel anymore, but yeah, the second one I never got to finish, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, oh my god. Also, Valhalla is another game that I want to finish. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I played it up to a certain point, and I never got to finish it because I just wanted to play so much and get so much done. But that should be changing in the near future with everything going on. But I thought this was a great time to kind of like update not only the channel, but people who want to know. And yeah, it leads more into video game stuff for later, and hopefully starting other adventures with the YouTube channel, whether that be drum covers in general, whether it be podcast episodes, bringing those back again, or just straight like D&D nerdy stuff, whatever the fuck I feel like posting, etc. But for me, I've realized lately that I need to, when people say, how are you? And I've done it for a while, and I was pretty good at doing it. I feel like lately, though, I've been worse at answering the question of how are you doing? Not because I'm not giving my full intent of how I'm feeling or how things are doing, but I wish that I would take a second, breathe, or pause and actually go, okay, how am I feeling in this moment? And what do I want to lead with this conversation? Because most of the time we say that, we don't want to burden the person that we're talking to. And I've realized now that it's actually better to give somebody a pause and to think, okay, am I fine? Am I good? Am I actually like doing okay? I think it just sucks because most of us want to say, oh, well, I'm dealing with this thing and I'm dealing with that thing, when we don't want to burden somebody. But you're not. You're just telling life as it is, and you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with. And if things are actually going genuinely well, it's another thing to genuinely talk about. You don't just go, oh, good. You could be like, you're allowed to humble brag too. You're allowed to tell about your situations and stuff that's going on that you enjoy. I did want to stop for a second, and I did want to talk about the game. This was one of the most annoying parts in the fucking game that I've dealt with in a very long time. These shrines where you have to find the crystals or get them from a certain point and bring them back up was the bane of my existence. For some reason, for this Giza, I don't even know how to pronounce it, this shrine specifically. You will see in the next half an hour to however long this certain section is. I didn't put the whole thing in, but you'll see different things from me here that for a while, and I actually had to speed up sections because I wanted you guys to see what I did, but I didn't want it to be too long or too annoying. And my goodness, was this section of the game infuriating when you are playing with a lesser hand than where you should be in the game. By this point, I think you should be able to know how to use certain materials, certain battery life things. I am going to be blunt honest here. I have been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I don't understand yet how to get more battery, how to do certain things yet, how to get more technologically savvy. The only thing I've done in this game so far is the shrines and the towers. And it's basically Breath of the Wild 2 for me at this point. And I would like to, as soon as fucking possible, go on a walkthrough or just start playing the storyline, and I want the game to teach me how to do things, which it should. It should. Any good Nintendo game, any good game in general, should want the best for you for that, and such like that. But, to lead off of those territories, going into more video game life, I miss playing Overwatch a lot. That was a game that not only I found love for in just playing it with a friend, but I found love in it and just really enjoying it for myself. I was never an Xbox player. I was never really I was more of a Nintendo kid. I played Smash Brothers growing up, like Smash 64. I played Tears of the Kingdom. I played Twilight Princess. I played Wind Waker and never finished half of the games until like recently, you know, like. So when Diablo came out, that was something that I genuinely asked a lot of my friends, because a lot of my friends are also video game players. Is that a game that I should get into? And what class should I play? Because it's very much apparently like an RPG, almost like D&D in a sense. So I asked what I should play, and ironically, my friend, one of my characters in a Pathfinder game that I'm a player in, I also DM, but one of my players, or one of my characters is, as a player, I play Necromancer. Well, I play a Cleric Necromancer now, but not as much recently. I've been more of the trick of the trade spellcaster, kind of slinging healing and doing as much as I can now that we're 16th level and higher. But I asked him what is the easiest class to play when you first start playing Diablo, and he told me you should start playing as a Necromancer. No pun intended. No irony here for you being a Necromancer in our Pathfinder game. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's something that I could genuinely enjoy, and for the first time in a while, so the systems I have, and you can even see them to the left of me if I could pan my camera over. I mean, I could, but it would be a lot of extra stuff, and with the green screen and everything. But I'm looking over the systems I have. I'm not even updated on the Xbox or the PlayStation. The newest systems I have are the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why I don't just say Switch, but I have the Nintendo Switch. I have the PS4, and I have the Xbox before the Xbox One. Sorry, I have the Xbox before the Xbox X or the Xbox S, which, if I do get the next consoles, I'm debating getting the PlayStation 5 with the just like no external hard drive, because I already have an external hard drive for it. I'm just debating getting like the slim PlayStation 5 so that I can just connect to the internet, and anything I need to do with the games could stay on the hard drive. The Xbox, I'm debating getting the Xbox X so that I can have the extra storage and do everything that I want to do. Even though I have a hard drive for the Xbox and my PlayStation 4, I find it a little bit easier to, if it has external hard drive, then let's start using it. I think the PS5 external hard drive thing is not as good as the Xbox X one, but that could change my mind. Maybe I go, okay, instead let's get the PlayStation 5 with the external hard drive addedness, so I don't have to worry about using the external hard drives as much. And I am a huge nerd, because when I first got my external hard drives, because I had the money for them, I splurged and went, let's just get two 6 terabyte hard drives. And for those of you who know technology and know hard drives know that Jimmy's fucking crazy because that's a lot of fucking storage for just games. I have one external hard drive that's 6 terabytes for my computers, and I have one each for my gaming systems besides the Switch. The Switch, for some strange reason, you can't use external hard drives yet. You have to get the SD cards. So I have a Nintendo SD card or just a normal giant SD card, which I have them all for my cameras anyway. I never noticed how much tech I had until one day I started really learning everything that I have. And that's the only thing that I want to do very, very soon and as quickly as I can. I want to learn the things that I actually have. I don't want to like fuck around too much anymore. Because one day I realized one of my cameras had an SD card that had a certain amount of gigabytes in it. And I went, okay, so how much video or 4K or even like 1080 HD, like how much is that in video footage? And I literally found out when I was at one of the musicals I was music directing, because they want their shows recorded, that's 24 hours straight of video footage in 1080p for 512 gigs. So I went, I didn't know that. I had this for super fucking long, and I haven't been doing anything with that. Oh, no, sorry. It's actually... No, I think it is still the 512 gig. But I also have this for my main camera computer thing, and it is 256 gigabytes. It's not even the 512 one, you know what I mean? So it's crazy to have that in the back burner and to have anything that I need. So, sorry, I wasn't even right. This is... No, I was right. The 512 is the 24 hours. So I could have that as a security... I could have one of my cameras as a security camera and not even have it hooked up to the internet. But as you all saw, some of this footage is going to be sped up. And this is where the most annoying part of this game came in, besides the frickin' Hornus section that I had in the very beginning. I brought these rocks over, and I connected it to make a leaning tower of crystal gem thing. And I had to keep using rewind to get this gem to finally pop up, and that's where we get the crystal back. So, yay me for having to figure that out. But the setup has changed a little bit for me, which has actually been a little bit nicer and a little bit easier. I think I'm still going to change up some of my setting things. My Lumex is now, I mean, it has been, but it's on a tripod that is too tall. And I love the angle right now. Like, it's actually at a pretty good angle. I'm not too worried. But I also don't like it as much because it's not as HD as it could be. If it was right, like my screen is right here-ish. And if I had one of my smaller tripods on it, I could have it closer to me, and then I could zoom in even more to make it like, oh my god, HD kind of thing. I feel like right now it's far-ish away, and it's zoomed in, so it's not even the best potential it could be, and I would love it for it to be more, in a sense. And then I moved my Scarlett, what's the word I'm looking for? Audio interface to my desk. It wasn't on my desk originally. It was on top of my tower. And I switched my headphones out because I love and hate. I have a love-hate relationship with the big, like, almost Bose-looking headphones. I don't have the Bose headphones. I have Audio Technica, which I believe a lot of people have those too. And I've had those for years. A lot of this tech I've actually had for years. I've just been very lucky that it's been up-to-date tech with everything that I've been doing. And I use Lumex 4K quality cameras for my streamings, like as webcams. I do have my old HD 1080p Logitech webcam just on my monitor, just in case I ever need something in a pinch. Like if I'm ever at a Zoom call and my camera's not working, I'll go, okay, fuck, I need to switch that on. I need to go back to my webcam, and we'll see what happens. But I've always been pretty tech savvy, even if I haven't understood everything. I've been able to jump in and out with like conversations and having people help me and me help other people. The next biggest thing I need to work on is, besides the streaming setup and just live streaming and putting out more footage and everything else that I have in my life, is fixing my fucking sound system. This is the weirdest fucking story, but I'm gonna bring it up. I have had so many issues, and I know what people are gonna say, just Jimmy, just get rid of the old sound system stuff. I have hybrided, or whatever you want to call it, I Frankensteined sound equipment together to make my studio the, like, pin ultimate sound system, surround sound system in my studio. And I have a Tascam, right? No, I have a Behringer, however you want to pronounce it. I have a Behringer mixer. I think it's a 16-channel mixer, which is new, oldish. It's like not as old. It's not as old, but it's not as new as it could be. It's definitely newer than older. And then I have a Crown XLI 800, which is like the audio interface that plugs into my speakers or gives the power to the speakers. So essentially I have speakers plugged into the Crown, plugged into the mixer, plugged into my computer so I can play like super loud sounds. And I got these tower speakers that are amazing, but I have 3 other things that are connected to the Crown system. And I know some techie people are going to be like, Jimmy, what the hell are you talking about? But I'll try and make it as easy as possible, because I don't even understand it fully either, obviously, because I'm having sound issues. But I had these MTX powered loudspeakers P12H's, which are old as anything. They're literally those 2 speakers in front of me that are on the sides of my surround sound. I've had for years. My cousin gifted them to my family, and I just took them over because I'm the most like musically inclined and tech savvy person. And I took them, and they have been my DJ equipment for like the longest time, right? And then I bought these new tower speakers, and they're amazing. But I have the old, I can't even see it right now because of the green screen, but I have this old, like, mixing DJ equipment setup that's like the CD player. It's like the pretending to scratch the records thing. And it's like, it's basically like an audio system setup. It's like a sound system setup. And I plugged it in to my Behringer, into my Crown, into the speakers, into everything. And it's all this sound equipment is plugged into this music setup. And since I have plugged it all in and I got it fine, there has recently been sounds of horrible screeching from the mixer. And I don't know what the hell, or from the sound system, or from the cables, or from something. I don't know what the hell it's from. It could be a cable issue. It could be too much power in a location. I have no freaking clue. The sound annoyed me so much that I joined r/sound on Reddit, the page to help you with your sound system. I just haven't posted it yet. I need to. It only happens sometimes. I need to literally turn it all on, record it when it makes the horrible sound, and then figure out and post it and be like, hey, can somebody help me with this? I don't know what the hell's going on. It's basically white noise that's super freaking loud, and it's annoying as fuck. But to go back into this, for the game, I just had some epiphanies of like, okay, well, if I use the giant ball as like, can it be used like an icicle? Can I swim through it to the top? Can I ascend through it and get half the stuff that I know? So now that I know anything that I can move, I can essentially ascend through, I think, unless some of the game mechanics are fucked at certain points. But I realized that I could do a lot of stuff with this stuff. So I was like, okay, now I have my interesting way. And then I had this, which you can jank this. I figured out. Some people literally have the balls in a certain way that you can roll it down. All you have to do is, which you'll see me do in a second, because I think I cut to it soon, unless I left it all in. But all you have to do is take the small ball, the medium ball, and the large ball, connect them together, and put the big ball towards the device. And all you gotta do is touch it. All you gotta do is touch it with it. And I don't know if that's the jank version or if you actually have to have them roll down, but that's the way I did it. I did the janky version again. And you'll see, I think I fucked it up originally, because they want the big ball to touch it, then you gotta switch it around and all that stuff. But you essentially just need one of them, and then put the grabby part all the way out. Like, and I thought I was smarticle and I thought it was like, oh, well, the small end will not pull it down. The big end will keep it up top. Doesn't fucking work like that. So I don't remember if I like left the area, or I think I might be looking at a walkthrough right now, and I went, okay, there's a janky version to do this. Let's do the jank version. But Diablo would be the first game I think I would play on Xbox X. I just recently, it has not been, not in a bad way, it's just not been in the funds for me to buy like 2 new systems. For me, I have enough games and enough recording and enough things to do right now. Mascotting has been awesome. I've been mascotting the most since I started mascotting again in a while. This last couple years now, I feel like almost, yeah, last couple years I feel at this point. I can't say who, obviously, but it's been amazing to get to work with the sports teams that I work with, to get to work with the companies that I work with, and I want to continue doing it for as long as I can. There are definitely passions in everyone's life, and then all you have to do here is switch it around. And I think I have my next goals for what I want to do for a lot of that stuff coming up. And then I got nervous here. And I was like, okay, well, does it not work? You have to let go. It has to touch it without, like, it being in the grab thing. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then, you ready for this? I fucking fell as soon as I did it. I was like, welp. Oh, and then it just brought me back to there. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I have some buddies playing this game already. And they're getting through a lot of the game because they don't record it. So it's obviously quicker to do all the stuff that you need to do. And they have so much armor, they have so much stuff, they have so much stamina, they have so much hearts, and I'm like, dude, the difference in you doing that, I'm only so far because I have to record it as I go. Well, not have to, but I want to record it as I go and put it up as a Let's Play, so people get confused sometimes. It's like, you don't see what you have to do with a lot of that stuff. Next, I transported back, and I started doing other shrines that I hadn't finished, and I realized, okay, well, the ones that have the green lines are just the ones that need the crystals, so let's go back and do the ones that I hadn't done yet. Except for, there's one shrine that I still haven't done yet, and it's on Ganon's Tower, and I have to wait till, well, now I realize I can do it, but I have to go to one of the towers and fly all the way up, and then get closer to the waterfall, and that one area, I've talked about it in the other playthrough episode, but for those who notice, I put in a new, I've been trying as many nose piercings, septum piercings as I can, because I have a ton of them and I just never wear any of them besides, oh, this is the one I was talking about earlier. I was like, should I ruin it for people? You have to kill the Hinox, or Hinox, I don't know how you pronounce it. I know how to pronounce it, and my one friend's character that I DM for, his character is named Nox, N-O-X, so I know how to pronounce that. Hinox or Hinox, or Hinox. Don't know what you would do before that. Just Hinox. Yeah, and this is me trying to figure out what can I attack with that does a ton of damage. And for most games, I've said this before, but for most games, I'm actually more of the sneaker. I'm either two things. I'm either the barbarian or the warrior that wants to slam and hack and slash and not use a shield. Or I want to be the dude that is sneaky and arrows and like I want to hide and all that stuff. So this game has really tested me here and there because you can't just really be one or the other. I mean, you have to be one or the other. I mean, you really aren't one or the other. I guess you could have your playstyle to do that, but it's harder to do when you're kind of running around and dealing with dragons and stones and a whole bunch of stuff. Your elementals, I don't even know what half this game has yet. The dragons scare the shit out of me. I think Zelda's a dragon in where we are right now. That's just speculation. I've been very good. The Game Grumps started it. Jacksepticeye started it, but never finished it. Gabby started it, but hasn't finished it yet, and I just haven't been watching anybody's Let's Plays of them. I just want to play it myself, and this is where I go, okay, don't get cocky. Let's turn away, let's heal up. I have been better about my health, though, even though it might not show here. I was like, okay, I will take healing potions that I have to at this point. Do I heal myself here? Oh, I guess I don't. I guess I run out. Because I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. But recently, since doing a lot more shrines and stuff, it has allowed me to have more health, to have more things here and there, to be better with my overall endurance and system and such. Yeah, I think I even ran out. Oh, there we go. The bright caps. Yeah, I started using them for health. They give you little helps and drops and stuff all the way around. I don't know if the giant bright blooms give you health. I don't think they do. Or else I would have immediately... Oh, there we go. I got a bomb flower, and probably going to slam it right in the guy's face. And then once he falls, I'm going to attack him and kill him. It's like I haven't even played this game or watched myself play it or saw what I did earlier. It's just scary because the bomb arrows, half the time you're like, okay, they're going to hit. And then this guy puts his hand in front of his face. And I'm like, okay, well, is it not worth it now to shoot it? What do I do here? And then he, at the last second, was going to put his hand up. And then I'm like, okay, fuck it. Do I attack him at the last second? Because I have 2 1/4 hearts left. And then I go for the eye. Yeah, I don't have any arrows left. It was a scary time. And I was like, I don't want to do this all over again. He has literally 1 little thing of health left. I just want to hit him real quick. And I don't know if I found more bombs or not. Maybe I ran around and I was like, okay, let me find another bomb. And I should now be better about collecting things and having them available when I need them for certain stuff. I think it's better to have those bomb arrows ready. Oh, I know what I remember what I did. I took a sword and I was like, well, I don't want to get close to him, but I want to throw something at him. Yeah, there we go. And the claymore did just enough damage for me to be like, okay, let me throw something at him so I can get him down enough. You'll actually notice I ran away from him for a second because I was like, oh my god, if he falls on me and I take damage for no reason, I just die here. Most of these creatures can like kill you outright, and it pisses me off. Like when you first start the game, you're 3 hearts, right? And most of the creatures that are higher level do like 5 hearts minimum. So you're like, okay, well, either I have to do a bunch of shrines. Like I think the perfect way to play this game is you go to each section and then you do each shrine geared to whatever section of the game you are in. So you begin in Hyrule, you do all the Hyrule shrines, and then you go from there and then you learn and you go to the next area. So when Ura gives you the task of, okay, now go to different areas and talk to these people, that's when I think you do those missions in those areas. You start doing the shrines that are in that area. I'm just being meticulous and wanting every area so that now I can just jump to any area I need to, and I will have the availability to just be like, okay, now I need to go back to this area and there's a shrine right next to it. Perfect, let me jump back. That's how I was with Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn, I played the game up to a certain point and I was like, fuck it, man, I can't like beat some of these people without like really getting more powerful. And I spent the whole rest of the game doing side missions until I was like 10 levels or 20 levels above the level I needed to be for missions, and I just demolished them. I was so proud of myself, and that's how I think I led into Tears of the Kingdom. Is it the best way to play the game? Is it the most fun way for me to play the game? Oh hell yeah, when I can just run in and have the stamina to kill a boss in one hit, that's gonna be so much fun. Or I take a certain amount of damage when I go in and I don't have to worry about being dead the first time I run through the game, you know? I mean, obviously, you're putting in the work to not get killed in the beginning from these creatures, but I'm building up my hearts, building up my stamina. This one was really interesting, actually. I went to Gerudo, however you want to pronounce it, town, and it's the Gerudo Highlands Skyview Tower, and it's underneath snow. So you can't access it from the top. So you got to go underneath, and you'll see how you need to get through it. And you can't just like willy-nilly walk in. So you have to do it from the mission side of it. You have to do it from the storyline of it. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's what it apparently said. I don't know if I read it correctly. Maybe I just fucked up. So I actually started doing different shrines from here. I went to the next one that was listed, and the Gerudo is just going to have to wait until I do the storyline of it now, I guess. But we'll see. Maybe I can finagle it, figure it out, do something. So I would like to get every tower done, because if this is saying I need to do the story to get just a tower done, I don't think that's right. I think you should be able to do every single one of them without having to do the storyline. Yeah, maybe I just read it wrong. I think I might have just read it wrong. And then you'll notice I got a few more healing things here and there. But But yeah, I have so much more time to talk, which is beautiful. This video, for those who can't see the taskbar or the video bar, the red little bar at the bottom, back in when we used to say the doobly-doo in the YouTube videos, that's how old I am. This video is like an hour and 15 minutes, and it's currently 29 minutes, well, 30 minutes exactly as soon as I said that. And this is where I go, okay, where's the entrance to the tower? Because it said it's nearby, and it started talking about different things I don't want to ruin. I want you to see what happens when I get down there. That's pertinent to Breath of the Wild. So anybody who knows Breath of the Wild would guess what you kind of need to do to get to this tower. But we had a conversation the other day about how horrible the English language is. And the freaking, when I thought about it when I said Gerudo or Gerudo, because how do you pronounce it? Because it's a G. You would think Gerudo because it's a G, but how do you pronounce giraffe? You pronounce it, you don't pronounce it giraffe, you pronounce it giraffe. Just like my name is Jimmy. You don't say gimme or Jimmy because it's a J, or just like GIF and GIF. That whole situation that got fucked up about the English fucking language. So here, I guess I'll just kind of spoil it because you can kind of figure it out from here. But I kind of run through and I realize that you need to defeat or somehow get into the Yiga, I think is their name, the Y-I-G-A. The Higa, I forget, not Naruto, but you need to get into this infiltration. This guy's going to tell me in a second, oh, you can't get through here without having the password and clothes to look like them. So I need to go back and get clothes and all that stuff. And that's the other thing about this game too. The two things that I have not been able to get super easily, I guess I need to like look into and actually see how to do it or play the storyline to see how I can get more of it. I need more arrows and I need more rupees. I have like 90 rupees right now or something. I can't. Yeah, Yiga clan. I can't do anything right now to buy armor. And there's been a few things I've seen lately that I'm like, oh, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. And there's not a ton of things in the game to get rupees right now, unless I'm just like passing by places that I should be getting rupees from, or pots. Maybe more of the pots have them. Yeah, so we had that whole conversation about giraffe or giraffe. After a week of interesting times that I don't think I talked about in any of my session videos yet. Which maybe I'll make a video about. I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to talk about it eventually, but I want to wait till my players in my campaigns don't like watch my videos and go like, oh, this was Jimmy's thoughts during this. Like, I'd rather like, I want to have like Matt Mercer does or Mark does at the end of the campaign, unless there are questions that I can't answer because they'll be in the next campaign, which for now for D&D, my players are playing through the Forgotten Realms. So Faerun, anything in the Forgotten Realms they could run into. Like if they're like, we want to go through this mist, and it's actually the mist into Barovia, they could be playing in Strahd. If they want to go to Baldur's Gate, they could be fighting in Baldur's Gate. Right now they're currently at the bottom of the Faerun map because that's where I fucking put them. Those little miscreants. They are close to, they're in Samarash right now, but no one's gonna know what Samarash is because there's no like module on Samarash. So I'm basically homebrewing the world, which I've had a couple campaigns before where I've done the homebrew and I've done Forgotten Realms, and I like doing Forgotten Realms just because people are more familiar with that and they like building off of the Forgotten Realms stuff. And I kind of hinted after this campaign, I think I'm gonna go totally homebrew. Like, for the world, at least. I don't want to, like... I mean, I will make... I make up items here and there. I make up monsters here and there, obviously, like, to be great for the characters or for the players or anything like that. Like, anything that needs to be in the storyline, I obviously will... And make it fair. I'm not a DM or a GM that's like, you guys are at 5th level. You shouldn't be fighting this thing. I mean, I'm a little bit like Brennan Lee Mulligan and Matt, though, and Mark. I mean, a lot of great DMs and GMs do this, but... if they run into something that is above their pay grade or their level, or it's lower than their level, they'll figure it out real quick. They'll see what they need to do. Because I'm not a person sometimes where everything's going to be in their level. Now, most of them have been not playing tabletops for as long as some of the other players have, or like we've been playing Pathfinder for a lot longer for certain people in the group. I've been playing D&D longer than I've been playing Pathfinder, and I learned the game quicker because I already knew D&D, and people came into Pathfinder not playing any tabletop, so they came from Pathfinder thinking that it's a lot like D. They were going to be synonymous. I can't even pronounce that word. Very similar to each other, and they're not. They're close, but they're like cousins. They're not like brother and sister. Maybe more. They're not twins. They're like brother and sister or cousins. Maybe like cousins might be a little bit better. Because we went from playing Pathfinder 1e to Pathfinder 2e, and now because I wanted them to learn about D&D, and I wanted them to show how I DM and stuff. So I was like, hey, let's play 5th edition D&D. That's the thing I know the best. Let's play it and have fun with it. And they're learning. They're doing a bang up job, man. I was very, very impressed with the last couple of sessions. They slowly, not that they have to, I tell them all the time, and they know this about me, you can play the game however you want to play it. You guys want to go to a different city that I don't have prepared yet, or I have prepared, you do it. You want to have a more RP session today, you want to have a shopping episode, you want to have a combat filled episode, you want to have a dungeon crawl episode, like, you let me know what you want to do, as long as it's within the bounds of like what the players can do. I don't want them going like, okay, well, they know this too, but I don't want them going, okay, we want to do a dungeon crawl, but there's no dungeons around. Like, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you gotta lead in and find somewhere you can do that at least. And there has been a bit of them going, okay, well, there's this thing in Pathfinder, but I want it in D&D, and I'm like, well, it's because I live by for now, because I want them to learn D&D. Some of them I feel not, I shouldn't say some, because I trust all of them with like homebrew or anything like that, but I think it's best if they're playing D&D for the first time, or they're playing a tabletop for the first time, they should learn the bounds of the rules first, and then we can start adding in more and more homebrew things here and there. It gets a little muddy when you have extra things in. For now, I told them anything that you want subclass-wise, item-wise, or character creation, or race, or ancestry, or anything that you want to do from that, it has to be from the Wizards of the Coast books. So Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Strahd, Eberron, Baldur's Gate, any of that is free reign. Anything Wizards of the Coast, even, Matt Mercer, Critical Role, Blood Hunter, anything like that is open. Anything that I have from Wizards of the Coast. It gets a little nitty gritty when it's open GL or OGL, which is like open game licensing, and it is 5th edition, but it's made by somebody who hasn't playtested it as much, or maybe it's not like a D&D eccentric thing. Maybe it's a little too strong and they haven't playtested as much as possible. You would hope to think that somebody from the OGL would be like, okay, let's test this as much as possible, and it's good, and I'm just going to put it out there. Some homebrew things that I've seen on even D&D Beyond has things listed for some items, for some monsters as homebrew, and you see them and you're like, oh, that's really fucking powerful. I should not do that or give that to my players yet. It's not listed under the correct terms it needs to be. So we try and filter it a little bit better. I have told them, though, in good ways, like, I don't want them fighting things without knowing certain things, and especially I told them, because it's like their first campaign with me, I will be open about a lot of stuff. I'll be like, hey, if you have questions about why that thing happened that way, without giving too much away, because maybe it will lead into another storyline or another thing that happens. The other thing about me is the world is ever changing and ever doing things. Like, you guys stop in a game and go shopping for a whole episode. The villains and other people are still working on stuff. Like, they're still doing stuff. So be careful how much time you spend doing other things. Or maybe doing another mission, or maybe going to see a family figure, and then it takes another day away from saving the kid from doing something. Like, the world keeps moving. The world keeps turning. And some DMs or GMs would be like, Jimmy, why the hell would you do that? I'm like, I want them to know that it's not all smoke and mirrors. I want them to know that I'm a human being too, and I'm doing a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing. It's just that I'm seeing it from a different point, and you guys aren't seeing how it affects the world, and I want to be open with that. There were a few things from the beginning of the campaign where they would express if the combat felt hard or difficult or easy. And I'm like, okay, well, just to let you guys know, the first couple sessions, I would tell them that. And I even had a tournament for them to learn their characters. And some of them already know that or understood it, why I kind of like did it that way. So they could, I think not every, but I think in the beginning steps, there should be a tournament to learn your character now, because that's like a great way to like set up your character, even if you're playing more. If you haven't played a tabletop before, it's easier for somebody to learn their character a lot easier. But I forget where I was going with that. So, for combat, there were definitely things where I said in the first couple sessions, hey, that fight was a medium encounter. Did it feel medium to you? That was an easy encounter. Did that feel easy to you? That was a hard encounter. Did that feel hard to you? Or they would tell me and I'd be like, well, that was a medium encounter. Like, like whether it was easy or hard for them. And they'd be like, oh, or okay. Like, they would have a better understanding of like what was going on in the world. And then recently, I think I talked about this in one of my episodes a little bit ago. We had in the campaign at 5th level, because they've been playing since 3rd, we had our first character death. And some of it was their first tabletop death in general. Pathfinder, we've actually been very, very lucky. I have had a character death personally, and I have had as a DM, a character die in a campaign already, so I was already pretty good about that stuff, but this character death hit very hard. Hit very, very hard to me, and I shouldn't say very, very hard, but it hit hard because it was a lot of people's first character deaths. It was a lot of people's first, like, tabletop. Like, that's when I think shit hits the fan and people go, okay, well, how is my character meant to be played now? Like, where do we move from here? And, it was also a very high stakes thing where they were fighting something, and I told them this. I said, that was a deadly encounter. That was meant to be very difficult. And I told them, D&D tabletops, it does not mean that you have to win every single time. It does not mean you have to, like, combat and fight until you kill everything or until, you X, Y, and Z. You can win a fight by running away. You can win a fight by talking to them. You can do anything. You don't have to fight to win a fight. And it was one of those fights where it just was crazy hard for them, and I had to play the character. And there are certain rules that I do agree with, and certain things I do agree with. A DM should, and I led with very, very much prep for the characters and the players. Hey, this isn't me. This is how the character would fight. This is how the boss would fight. This is how the creature or the monster would fight. And I said, they are smart enough to do these things. They know what's going on in the world. They would be able to go, okay, well, this person's down. I'm going to keep fighting them. I'm going to keep doing things. And it was just one of those situations where shit hit the fan really hard. And they did win. I mean, at a cost, but they did win. And it was very interesting. And I would love, I said this, and I want to do this, and they have so many questions too. At the end of the campaign, and I would love to run a second campaign from there. Their characters live in another part of the world, or maybe a different time frame. But I would love for them to ask and have a talk back with me and be like, okay, you remember in session, which they have all their notes, but like some of them have all their notes, but they could be like, in session blah, 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 or remember when this thing happened, you said you couldn't tell us, or like, why did that thing happen, or what was going on, or who was blah, blah, blah. And there are definitely some threads right now where they don't know what's going on in the world, and it's very interesting to see where their brains go. I actually had a player who's one of my, they're all my very close friends. I very much appreciate that, but the one I've known the longest, actually, her first tabletop was Pathfinder, and then got them all into D&D from me. And she actually messaged me, and this was actually today, and she was asking me questions like, hey, because of blah, 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 I was thinking, I had some shower thoughts about it, like, what's going on in the world? And I'm like, oh, honey, like, I'm glad you're thinking of those questions now, but, like, oh, I can't go into them, because you're asking me questions that are like, Okay, well, why did that person do that? Well, you don't know. That's the biggest thing for me, and it's not meta-ing. Like, if it didn't have to deal with the world and it didn't have to do with what was going on, I could be more open about things. But because they're still in the world and things could happen, like, let's say they fought, I don't know, they fought a dragon, and let's say the dragon got away. And they were like, oh, and maybe the dragon got away, and they were like, okay, we're not going to go after the dragon. We're just going to, like, fight it again whenever it comes up. And let's just say the dragon never came back up in the campaign. They just, like, never had to fight the dragon again. And if they asked me about it, and if it was something that would be later on, the dragon would come back and try and seek revenge, I'd be like, well, I can't tell you about that because it might come up again. If it doesn't come up again and we're doing something completely different, I'd be like, okay, well, the dragon didn't come back or did come back, but you guys weren't there, or whatever would happen in that session. It's just fun for me because I get to take something that we all love, tabletops, and I get to write my own spin on the storylines and the Forgotten Realms stuff. I do have a few players who know Forgotten Realms stuff or like Faerun stuff or wherever we are on the map, and I tell them like, hey, just be careful because I changed some things in the Forgotten Realms. Like, it's not going to be exactly what's written down in the books or written down in the modules, and there may be some change. The campaign is called A Touch of Change for a reason, and they are starting to realize slowly through not only their characters, but the funny part is for me that I love, and I know I'm going off about D&D, and that's like the number one thing in this video now, but the thing that I noticed is like I named this campaign A Touch of Change when it was only 4 players, when it was only 3 players. So how it came to be was our buddy Taylor is our GM for Pathfinder. And Taylor couldn't make it some Saturdays because Taylor had work. And I was like, oh, well, Taylor, do you mind if I run some D&D sessions as a DM and we don't have to play Pathfinder? They can learn a whole new system because I'll jump in and blah, blah, blah. And I said to Taylor, like, hey, if there's ever a session you want to join in and make a character and you'll be there, I could have you as, like, a returning character, blah, blah, blah. And they had so much fun that they wanted to play again, just me and the 3 of them. And then Taylor heard, I guess, about it and was like, oh, well, I want to play now, blah, blah, blah. And then we had 2 friends who heard about it from, I think, a party, because we originally had 3 and me. And sometimes DMs, GMs count themselves, sometimes they don't in, like, the counting. But I don't sometimes because it's a little different for a DM or a GM because I'm not playing a character. I'm playing NPCs, but... We had 3, and then it turned into 4 because it was our core 4 of Pathfinder people plus the GM or DM, whoever it was. And then we had 2 more people add on top of that. So that's 7 people at a table already. And we've had other people ask about joining our game and asking about D&D, and I'm like, hey, I could DM 1,000 people in a session, you know what I mean? But it's not about that. It's about the players and the characters and how well they feel with learning a new system and jumping in and stuff like that. And I asked my players, I said, hey, if we were to add in more people, how would you feel? And a lot of them expressed like, hey, we're learning our characters right now and we want to take the time to like not have to worry about having so many people at the table. It's already enough people as it is. Like, people sometimes talk over each other, and you know, that's part of the course. Like, it's going to happen because there's 7 people at a table, and I basically have to be... I love how I said I would never be a teacher. Fun fact, for those fucking students who are watching this video right now, I don't really care, but growing up, I told myself, like, I was never going to be a teacher. I never saw myself in a leader role. I never saw myself as, like... It's so funny with all the shit that I do now, but I never saw myself... It's so ironic. I never saw myself as a leader. I never saw myself... Like, in high school, I never saw myself doing that stuff. And then, once I got to college... I started like mentoring and teaching and music directing and conducting and directing, and I became more of like this teacher position, but it was more of it wasn't like teaching. So when I went out for teaching, I told myself even when I was mentoring at college and stuff like that, it was different. But when I got out of school and I had students who asked me because of other mentorship type things, or I was a choir director, I was doing other things, and I had students ask me, oh, we'd love for you to be our teacher, blah, blah, blah. I went, oh, okay, well, this is a different form of mentorship. Maybe because they'll enjoy this class, they'll come in and enjoy and have fun with it. And my goal was never to be a teacher. And it still is never to be a teacher. I knew that. It's like I told myself I'd never be like, I don't know, I'd never say never, but I told myself I would probably never get into being a vet. Like, I don't think I'd ever be a veterinarian because I could never deal with dying animals. I can never deal with pets and stuff like that. Dealing with shots of blood. Like, a doctor would not be a good thing for me. A different type of doctor maybe, but I don't want to deal with gore. I don't want to deal with blood. I don't want to deal with people's lives in my hand type of thing. Even though I deal with people's lives in my hands in different ways now, in D&D sense and in performance life. But yeah, fun fact, I told myself I was never going to be a teacher, and I told my parents and my family that, and my friends that growing up. I was like, I'm never going to be a teacher. Like, I never want to be a teacher. And I just kind of fell into it, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this for like a year and see how it goes. And the first year was okay. It was whatever, and I just knew after my first year, like, I probably am not going back. And then my second year I was there, COVID hit. Luckily, actually, I think there's parts of me here and there that think that things happen for a reason, and I'm gonna be blunt honest. Like, well, the other reason why I was at the school actually was because the music teacher that they had at the school was going through chemo and was going through cancer, which is obviously horrible, and I don't want to say anything horrible about that, but they needed a music teacher, and they asked me to just sub in until the teacher came back, and then unfortunately she did not come back. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm staying here. Like, the half a year turned into a year, and it was like, like a full year, quote unquote. And I went, okay, well, I guess I'm here now. And I thought it was something I could do with everything else that I did in my life, and it just wasn't. Like, I genuinely feel that I could, and this is going to sound cocky, I don't really care. I genuinely feel I can do any job, any work that I want to do, but I have to want to do it. I was in an office job for years. I mean, years. I was at an office job for, this one office job I was at for like 2 fucking years. And I told myself I would never do an office job. And then I went and did this office job just because I was like, okay, well, let's see how it does. Let's see if I can make some money off of this. Let's see if it's actually like a career thing that I could do. And it was just one of those jobs where I went like, nah, this isn't for me. I could do it, and I'm good at my job. Trust me, my boss did not want me to leave. That's how good I was at my job. They did not want me to freaking leave. And even with the teaching job, they did not want me to leave. There's been plenty of jobs over the years I've been told, we do not want you to leave because you're good at your job. And I'm like, yeah, because I give 110% at whatever I'm doing. And, well, for most things, I should say. I give 110% when I have to, or when I really enjoy the thing that I'm doing. And for some strange reason, when I really care about something, I don't do it as hard as I should. Like YouTube, like Twitch, for some strange reason, even though I really enjoy doing social media and doing videos, it's just something that I've had a weird triggering type of thing over the years. So now I realize better and doing better, and you learn every time you do stuff. So whoever's watching these videos, thank you. Even in the future with 1 million, hopefully, subscribers, or however many subscribers we get up to, because at this point, I'm not stopping. Even if I'm 80 and I'm still doing videos and I'm still doing whatever, I don't really care. I'm going to post whatever the fuck I want and have fun with it. I don't know how I got into all this. I'm going to be completely honest. I forget where my train of thought came from about, like, I said I was never going to teach, which is also ironic because I don't see private lessons as like a teaching thing. I see it more as a mentorship. And now I'm teaching, whether it's music directing. Oh, because I said I never saw myself as a leader. And now I'm like music directing. Now I'm like directing shows. And I was doing that even when I was in college, but now I'm doing it like out of school professionally. And it's amazing to get to have students here and there who want to take vocal lessons, who want to continue with their stuff. That's the biggest thing for me. I think the teaching has to either be like a mentorship, or I'm directing, or I'm workshopping, private lesson-esque kind of way, or the kids get to pick that they want to be there. things where students do not want to be, like, no offense, at school or in a curriculum that they don't want to be in, or don't want to be in an activity that they don't want to be in. Trust me, I was the same fucking kid. I still did my fucking work and I was a good kid, but there were plenty of times that I didn't want to be in a certain classroom because I didn't enjoy the class. When I went to college, I had to learn I had to take gen ed classes that I was like, why the fuck? I'm going to school for acting and for my minor in music. Why the hell am I here retaking classes like French? I had to retake French. I had to take a math class, a math lab, a science lab, and a science class, and like a world history type class, which thank everything was my Shakespeare with seniors class. Shakespeare with seniors. So I actually, sorry, to jump back to the game really quick. I really enjoyed this shrine because you had to shoot a bomb and not kill yourself at the same time, and then like get to the shrine and all that stuff, whatever. I just thought it was ingenious how they did the well and it was rocks and stuff like that. I need to find more bomb location or buy bombs to have them, because bombs are very useful in this game. And there's water at the bottom, so I wouldn't even died if I fell in. Yeah, I don't understand the education system. I think most of us don't understand it, in all honesty. There's parts of me that are like, why are we teaching kids about certain things and not other things? Like, I understand teaching about history, because if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat yourself. But why are we teaching kids certain things and not other things? Like how to cook, how to do taxes, how to buy a house, how to save money. Like, what, those things should be super easy to teach. And we don't even teach those things. Most kids these days, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but most kids don't even want to do union type jobs or want to do green collar. Yeah, green collar type jobs, Jimmy. No, most kids don't want to do like blue collar jobs, even white collar jobs. Most kids now don't even realize, they're like, I want to be a YouTuber or I want to be a social media person, and they don't even understand what that means, like what you have to go through to even get that stuff. It's not just okay, I'm going to do it because I want to be famous. It's like okay, what are you going to get your fame from? That's the biggest thing. A lot of people say YouTube is consistency plus passion for what you love minus money. So in the beginning, no matter what, TikTok, like these people who make millions of dollars off of TikTok, not even millions of dollars, because TikTok doesn't even pay as well as Twitch or YouTube or anything else, but it's like, trust me, I would know. But it's like half these things, they go, like, you ask any kid, and trust me, I've been at school since teaching, trust me. But you go to these kids and you're like, okay, what are you going to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be famous. What does famous mean to you? Because just having people like you and having people like know you is different, is different, because you can still have fulfillment in life and still be known by your colleagues and by the people around you, and, you know, be famous among your friends. Fame doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I'm going to be a celebrity and everybody's going to love me and know me. No shit, Sherlock. Everybody wants to be known by everybody, and everybody wants to be quote-unquote famous or loved or revered. You know, like, tell me one. I mean, there's probably a few people out there who are like, I don't want to be known by people. I just want to have a lot of money. And that's what fame usually comes from kids. It's like, okay, they either want money, well, they want money, they want people to know them and love them, and they want some type of ability. They want something that they can put out there. And fame usually comes with acting or singing or music or like TV, like, or quote unquote social media at this point, because that's what the whole, like, okay, now social media is TikTok or Instagram or blah, blah, blah. And there have been so many times throughout the years that people get famous for no apparent reason and then have no idea what to do with that fame. They get there and then they go, well, I got famous off of being stupid, or I got famous off of doing something one time that I can't do over and over and over again. And then they have to find their, like, means of living. It's a very strange place. when I got about 7 million views on one TikTok video, and I started getting, and I have like 32,000 followers on TikTok, which people go like, oh my god, you're famous. I'm like, it doesn't correlate in my head like that. It's not like, okay, now I have this and now I just blah blah blah. It's like, no, you have to still work at it. And on top of it, I was scared when it first happened. I went, oh fuck, like I should have rode this out. I should have like had it with me, and I should have kept doing it and kept posting and brought people in. Now it's weird for me to post because it's like, okay, people don't get my videos anymore because I didn't post for like almost a half a year after that video. I was scared. Not a half a year, but it was like a month or two after that video. And it's like, now people don't know who the hell I am anymore. People follow me, don't even remember that they're following me, and then unfollow me for it. It's almost counterproductive to post a video in senses, but I'm being better about that. I want to post more on that, etc. and stuff like that. But I think I know I can do as much as I want. I know I can do 1,000 million things if I want to on YouTube or Twitch or TikTok. And I think it's come down for me, as always, is I either, like, it's like I want to do music and I want to do gaming. Those are the two things that I know that I want out of like my social media presence. If other things happen, then perfect. Like, it's like, okay, I can add that on top of whatever I did. And usually, it's very true. Usually the things that you get famous for are the things that you didn't expect. Reactions, I don't know why, but on this fucking YouTube, anybody who watched my reactions and are like, why doesn't Jimmy post reactions anymore, blah, blah, blah. Why I got this basic following for YouTube, which isn't even that much of a following. Some people would look at it and go, oh my god, he's got like 16,000 subscribers. It's like, that's not, I mean, it's amazing. I'm very thankful and lucky, but now it's at a point where it's like, okay, that was because of reactions, and that's not what I wanted to have on this channel anyway. And that's a whole other topic I get into another video about. I don't even believe in reaction content as it is. I believe in giving in your 2 cents. I believe in giving in, like, watching a video and talking over it, podcasting, giving your opinion, X, Y, and Z, like that. I don't agree with these fucks who sit on reaction videos. And I've talked about this multiple times on streams before, but I don't agree with people who literally watch a video and go, oh my god, that's amazing, great, cool, or don't say anything. Like, those people piss me off. Because you're just a funny face, or you're just a kid or a person sitting in front of a camera doing this for a whole video. And you're taking other people's work, actually. That's the other thing. That's the real thing that gets me. It's like, most of those views from people should be people watching the original artist. And some reaction videos have more reaction watches than they do the frickin' person who was like, oh, I'm gonna post this video. And sometimes people don't even get the things that they're deserved from their videos, you know? I don't know. It's a whole weird world. I personally, I think a reactor, even though he might not call himself a reactor, I think Hassan, the YouTuber, Twitcher, social media person, I think he does a good job of reacting to things. I hated when I post a video and people go, you talk too much, you pause the video too much. It's like, dude, that's the fucking point of reacting to things. Reacting isn't sitting there and not saying shit, especially when it's in a different language. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So, as you can tell, getting back to this, as you can tell, for this shrine specifically, I had to talk to the technologically, I forget their names already, the Zonai, I think they're called. You have to go back and you have to combine the ice and the fire again. It's another one of these fire ice shrine things, and you want to whittle down the ice so that it becomes the shape that you need for the crystal to appear for this shrine. And it did not take long. I looked at that and I was like, okay, well, I needed to look up where the shrine was and how to start it, but I knew from there how easy it was going to be, and I knew that the first one was going to need to be in the water to get smaller a little bit. I knew the first one would be the right size to put in. And the last one I knew might have needed a fire attached to it. And here is another one where it gives you the blessing, and you don't really have to worry about it too much. It gives you it right on the spot. And then we deal with when the glow of the blue blood-stained moon.
When the glow
Over and over and over again for that. Make it sing-songy at this point, because it is a meme. It is a meme to me. It's definitely a big meme to me. So we go in here, we get the blessing. And I think by this point, I'm up to 7? Because I know after this, spoiler alert, I went in and I think I got 2 more hearts is how I ended the session. But I went on so many tangents in this video. That is fine with me. And there are some other, like, quote-unquote react videos that they wouldn't consider themselves reactions. They would consider themselves, like, podcasters. There are podcasters who go on Reddit and take Reddit posts and they read them and they go, like, am I the asshole? And then they answer the question. That's where they get all their, like, answers from. Or people send in questions, etc. And in this day and age, there are so many people who have podcasts now. It seems like everybody and their mother has a podcast now. And then we jump, I don't know where we are now. Jumping back to one of the finding of the shrines again. All these are shrines, by the way. If you haven't caught on to that, all these are shrines. And obviously you can tell that this is the first time me going there. If it says discovery. I missed earlier, but there was I thought it was very cool. I thought the well shrine where you have to like find the guy and like put the stone down, I thought that was very, very cool. I thought that was a new ingenious way of like adding different mechanics to the game, which will get me ready for when I need to think of different things going on in the game later. Choo-choos, getting those electric pulses to the arrows is amazing. If I had fucking arrows, this is where I put my arrows if I had them. Yeah, and lots of keys. I think this one's super easy. I think I was like, okay, I just go down the tunnel. I think you just had to find the area, if I'm not mistaken. I think you just had to go down and find the area. Is this one of the ones where I had to do the stone thing? I can't remember. Oh, no. This is the one where you have to go in. And I mean, I won't ruin it, but you have to. It's something different than what I've been used to this whole. Yeah, it's something different than what I had to do the whole time for this game. It'd be horrible if I recorded all this, and if it's out of focus, I'm still going to use the audio, or I'm still going to use the video. Maybe I'll still use the video. I'm a little nervous because I did not put a light. Not usually recently, since I started Breath of the Wild. Since I started Tears of the Kingdom, I haven't put a light behind me. I used to put a light behind me because it wouldn't have this shadow that I had to worry about. Now, for this session, I have to edit it so that I can put the video footage on it and have the shadow not as present, which isn't too difficult if you green screen and you color grade your stuff correctly. But moving forward, I am probably going to get one of those Elgato lights so you can put like right behind your seat, so that it just beams light into it, so I don't have to worry about editing it as hard. Like before, there was a time I had light, and I still have all my lights, and I could set up, but it's just annoying. I gotta like put a light here, and then I gotta move it and do other things with it. But there was a time back in the day that I could put a light here, and I didn't have to worry about editing my green screen. All I had to do was turn it on and put it in Adobe, and I would just click green screen and the color, and it would do it automatically for me. Now, well, we're now in a day and age, that's another thing getting brought up with all this fucking AI shit, which is going to put, I genuinely think we should be leaning more towards, which I saw a post for this, so I can't give it all my, like, oh my god, I was the one who thought about this, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't. I think that AI is getting too powerful, and I know that's coming from somebody who's like, well, Jimmy, you wouldn't have to edit as much, and you could just pay the $15 a month to use your AI to edit videos for you and stuff like that. I don't think the AI is ever gonna. Well, never say never, but right now the AI is in its testing phase, and it's not perfect by any means. So it's definitely still somebody needs to like look at the video footage, make sure it's all good. You still have to watch it, and I think we're at a point where it shouldn't have to be that way for artistry, or like AI right now is taking artists out of jobs. That's the big thing. It's taking artistry and the arts out of work, when soon we're not even going to need politicians anymore. We're not going to need anybody working in stores anymore. We're going to have all automated stuff, because AI will be able to do it. And we're also getting to a point, a lot of people don't think about this for AI. It's not even just the whole, like, it's taking jobs from people. It's taking the humanity and the socializing away from people who don't regularly socialize. I am sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry nonetheless here and there. I should not have anxiety towards talking to people. Like, there have been times where I go, oh man, I gotta make a phone call. Guess what fixed that problem? Texting and emailing. Like when people say, how would you prefer to be reached? It should just be any of the things that you put down. Email, phone number, text message, phone call, whatever. And now we live in a day and age where you can put, I prefer to be emailed, and not have a fucking human interaction with people. And that's the thing I think that's going to take away from everybody. People don't even want to go in stores and talk to people, or restaurants and talk to people. Is it more convenient to just click the items that you want at a store or somewhere? But it takes away so much. Like, I think that all that stuff could still be manned or human by somebody. I don't think we need to take away every aspect of everything. It's just crazy where you see where we are in the world. And you're like, okay, in the next, I don't even know. I think in the next 2 years, AI is going to be way better than it already is now. I think every month it's changing. So I'm just going to say this, because if you're not paying attention and you're watching me and listening to my story while you're doing this is also a great episode to kind of like watch it in the background, or you can just listen to me speak for the whole time. But the next thing is, for this shrine, I didn't notice it, but you go to this platform, and you have to combine you have to combine a keys wing with an item, with a weapon that you can throw, or an arrow. I think, I forget if it's specifically a weapon, or I think it has to be a weapon. So it had me grabbing the keys as an item, and I'm like, no, I want to fuse them so that I can put them together, which I think I had to take off that's why they give you so many keys to run through. So you're gonna put the keys on the ground, and then you're gonna fuse it with the weapon that you have. And then you throw your weapon through, because it's going to go farther, because that's what the keys wing does. It makes it fly farther. And, yeah, fun little time here, and nice little spear arrow thing. And I think I threw it above, because I was like, if I throw it in the middle, it's not going to... Yeah, it almost missed even with that. And then it gives you the shrine. There's been some ingenious shrine ideas here. Not all necessarily bad. Not all necessarily bad. I am very, very happy to be almost done all the shrines, though. I mean, I don't even know if I'm halfway yet. And then I also have the tops of islands, like the sky zone area. Like, are there shrines up there? Probably. Are there bonus shrines I need to find later? Who the hell knows? You know? But I guess I'll say for the last couple minutes, because we got like, what, 3 minutes left? I will say for the last couple minutes, thank you all for taking me down this journey, for talking for this section. I definitely prefer recording myself while playing the game and talking, but this definitely gave me a moment to like podcast again. This gave me a moment to not have to worry about playing the game and just talking. I would do more of this style if people enjoy it more, because I can talk my ear off. I mean, talk your ear off, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But it's not like I'm talking about the game the whole time, so it is more of that mix of... This is almost like me... With doing this, is almost like me having a co-host that I'm talking to, because I can talk to myself the whole time. When it comes to playing the game and having to play the game, figuring out the game, and then also talking to myself, it also adds like, oh, well, I gotta play the game, and then I gotta add extra sections so that I can talk to you guys and all that stuff and all that jazz. But thank you for this. Had a lot of fun. Got to talk about a lot of random stuff that I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about in this video or later. But basically, the end of this video is me going back to the emergency station with Holy Mary Mother. I always say that every time this happens. But the Lights of Blessing, I have 4 of them. Well, I have 8 of them. And I will spend the first 4 on hearts. And I think the second 4 I even spend on hearts too. Because I still have the full 2 wheels of stamina. And I wanted something so that I wasn't killed every 2 seconds with this fucking shrine thing. And I'm trying to end this video like right on this ending part, so I will end it here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is James Joseph Edward Jesberger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.